This kind of behavior is sickening. It's disgusting. It's an affront to all of us as Americans. And today we're saying clearly, no more. Our message is simple. If you're committing fraud, our task force will find you. We'll come after you, and we will not rest until justice is served.
Earlier on National Report, we spoke about the Trump administration's new task force targeting the unbelievable amounts of fraud we've seen crop up across the nation. Well, that task force, led by Vice President J.D. Vance, hosting a roundtable to discuss the goals as well as what's already been accomplished. And here to share his experience there, as well as some details about the initiatives which support the crackdown, one of the participants at that roundtable, Todd Rokita. He is the Attorney General of Indiana. We sure appreciate your time today. So tell me what.
Great to be back with you.
Yeah, tell me about this roundtable discussion and what y'all are going to be tackling.
Well, it was very empowering, especially when you compare it to the last administration, where we were literally throttled, we were ignored, we had no partnership at all, and now we have a lot of good help, and that's important. You know, in Indiana, over the last 5 years, I've recovered alone $100 million of Medicaid provider fraud that was going on. And, you know, we run a great state. We're nothing like Minnesota or California. So it just shows that this can happen anywhere. And when it's this retail type fraud, you really need a good partnership. You need more eyes, you need more ears, you need skill, and you need technology. And that's what this partnership is going to provide.
Yeah, it's not that this occurs only in red states or blue states. You know, in my state of Texas, saw the same thing. But Governor Abbott, you know, immediately called it out, cracked down, and got on with business. But, you know, what do you call the Democrats when they're talking about exposing fraud? They say it's scapegoating. It's white supremacy. And then, of course, this. Listen to this.
This is often a precursor to hate crimes.
The Somali immigrant population may have been involved in some way. Those people are being scapegoated.
Someone is feeding the president this racist, dehumanizing information.
What they want to do is scapegoat communities of color, scapegoat immigrants, and aggregate power.
This is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
Okay, just your reaction to that. If you expose fraud, you're scapegoating. So are you a scapegoater?
These people infuriate me. Each one of those people you've shown are clowns. They're not leaders. They don't put America first. They don't put citizens first. You just heard it. Look, Republicans aren't perfect. But look, we will always put America first. We will always put our citizens first because it's our country. And they want to give it away to people who have no American values, who don't care about this country or its history. Yeah. On the 250th anniversary, your listener, your viewers ought to put Americans first and support us in this effort because you just heard what the alternative is.
Yeah, I love it. You're leading this charge also to protect American workers' wages. Tell me about this and the coalition that you've built.
So great with great to 13 states, you know, really help the president and making sure that, you know, the president is made Republicans the party of the working men and women. And what we have to do is make sure we double down on that and put American workers first. And that includes in our immigration laws where we have H-1B visas that big corporations who are mostly all left, okay, leftists, hire workers outside the United States for far less wages and displace not just menial jobs, but now STEM jobs, you know, science, technology, engineering, and math jobs, higher education jobs, high-paying union jobs that are more than just menial labor. Those are being displaced now if you abuse the H-1B system. So President Trump is correcting for that, and we have 13 states that want to also correct for that, and I'm happy to lead that effort.
Yeah, that H-1B visa program, those are high-paying jobs that plenty of Americans would love to have. And for the other ones, don't bother calling for help on a service line for any American company, it seems. They answer in a different language. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Great to be with you.
Good to have you.